lovely friends. So today I wanted to show you, I planted this in the winter of last year, or rather this year's winter, and it's going to be a yellow milkweed, and it has pretty little blossoms. So the blossoms will look like these red and orange ones, except it's the same shape, but it's going to be yellow, just bright yellow. And so I do love the variety, and I plan on growing many milkweeds and having a little milkweed area for the monarch butterfly sanctuary. Over here, I was trying to get more basil earlier in the year, so I threw some seeds down, and this took, and it's the Thai basil variety. It smells so good. I'm going to bring this one in later because I do want it to thrive over the winter. So let's check on the plants that I sowed the seeds earlier. Nothing from the chives or the Chinese leeks. Nothing here. This to me looks like a hollyhock seed. But I know that I stuck Johnny's Chinese chives seeds in here. So these I stuck in here last week, towards the end of the week. So I'm not too worried that nothing's come up. And this whole section here is rhubarb chard. So that means that the stems are going to be red, and they'll look like rhubarb, and the leaves are green, and already they're starting to pop up. So that's pretty good. That means that the seeds from 2018 are still good. Pardon all the sounds. There were 2 airplanes and a garbage truck going by. So it's a busy morning. So on this one, I thought I had stuck only 4 seeds in there, but I guess a 5th one came in here, or a 6th one. Quite a few, but that's okay. That's a lot of food. And this is the original very first set of seeds that I sowed. So the Swiss chards are coming out real well. It's rainbow Swiss chard, I believe. Looking for calendula here, and those seeds are from 2020, and I haven't seen anything pop up calendula like. That looks like hollyhock to me, and that looks like amaranth. And it's concerning that the Arctic King lettuce didn't come up, because they have lovely leaves that are tender. And here are some bok choy, which I love, and I'm glad they all came up. I love that. It's my favorite of the vegetables. Unfortunately, again, the chives aren't coming up, the garlic chives. Now, these seeds were a little bit older, and I didn't know this. I stockpiled on a lot of chives and onions and bunching onions seeds, and I only found out later that those don't last very long. Like, you have to use them right away. Something green's right there. Hopefully those are it. Hopefully all it was that it needed more time. And here are the tatsoi, and I love tatsoi. They provide so much leafy veg, and they're similar to bok choy. They're tender, but they are a good food source. They provide lots of leaves per plant. I love it so much. I got these from Baker Creek. That's a definite purchase from now on for myself. Now, about 3 days after sowing those seeds, I sowed these seeds, and it's the giant noble spinach and the Bloomsdale long-standing spinach. I only have 2 little sprouts and 1 little sprout. Now, the first couple days I had this closed, so I don't know if it was too much heat or if these just require more time, but that's a really bad germination rate. Anyhow, I've been leaving it open so that it has a chance to cool down, and the last 2 weeks were good because The temperatures were in the 80s, and now it's in the hundreds. So it went back up. And here I sowed last week Tokyo white bunching onion, Chinese leeks, because you can never have enough of them, except that I haven't seen a single one pop up, so I'm kind of concerned. Here I have in my Pro Hex kit 72 cells plants that I sowed: kohlrabi, dill, and Brussels sprouts. And so there's one sprout by the label. That's funny. There's another sprout over there. There's another sprout right there. This doesn't look too good. I hope it straightens out. And I hope more of the seedlings that I sowed pop up, because now I'm worried that they look so sparse. And over here I just cut some what's that green melon? And here I cut these are the Malabar spinach berries with the seeds inside, and I transferred them from a smaller envelope to this bigger envelope because it'll dry out better, and it's already begun to dry out. So let me show you. So they're a little bit wrinkled and they are still a little moist, but so long as you don't like press on it too hard, it won't pop and it'll just dry up and it'll just be kind of like a raisin, and the seeds will be intact. And over here I set up a new set of, these are just berry cartons, and I like them because they have a lid so you can grow stuff. You can sow seeds in the winter and it'll keep the seeds warm, and it already has holes so you don't have to drill any. So this was from strawberries and this was from plums. So what I'm going to do is water in the soil and sow some seeds. That's what I remember now. So these are honeydew seeds that those are honeydew seeds that I cut the honeydew yesterday for the kids, store-bought honeydew. And I always collect some of the seeds so that the following year out I could just pluck them into the ground in the spring, and by late summer or midsummer we'll have fruit for the kids to eat. And I'm gonna from now on disperse a heavy amount of seeds in my garden and in my family's garden so that we all have lots of melons, because what great way to enjoy fruit and juicy fruits during the summer. Since the little seed sowing kit did not produce any calendula, I'm hoping that I didn't collect poor seeds or seeds that weren't mature enough. So I'm going to try to broadcast this into the garden. And I know they don't do very well in the winter, but as long as they live, then they will keep making flowers in the spring. So I'm going to try sowing more of these. And then in these 2 berry containers, I'm going to sow the seeds for Elisa Craig onion and Southport white globe bunching onion. So these I think you can just transplant them into the ground. I'm not sure about onions, but I've seen people do it. So I'm going to try to sow it in a small container, and when I see little green leaves, I'll transplant it into my garden beds that I wanted to make after I move the chicken run. Another thing that's really good to grow is Okinawan spinach. So here I have some, and I just got a couple cuttings from my mom, and then I took all the leaves off of it and left the stems there. I washed the leaves and cooked it and ate it. And you could eat the leaves raw, but you just stick the stem anywhere in the ground and it grows, and it's like so good. It's a good food source, and it has the purple color, so it has anthocyanins and stuff. Great crop. And Cuban oregano, it grows like crazy, and it provides a nice scent, and not too many pests bother it. And it's the same thing, you plug the stem into the ground and it's going to grow. Don't overwater it because it's like a succulent. The leaves are very thick and very succulent like. My Korean basils are doing really well. They get really tall and the stems get pretty woody. But so far it's doing good. It's trying to go to seed. It's making lots of flowers, and I've been just ripping off the flower heads and throwing them into the tomatoes to confuse any pests from eating up my tomato plants. So I hope this heat wave gives me enough time for at least a few tomatoes on this plant. These are the heirloom tomato seeds that I threw in the ground. They're making flowers. But I have yet to see a single fruit, and I don't know if I'll have fruit or that they'll ripen in time before it starts to rain and cool down, which is bothersome. I'm gonna have to harvest that soon. It's my fault, really. It was kind of an experiment, and I took the seeds from the heirloom tomato that was store-bought and I stuck them in the ground in late July or something like that. And I know it's a huge tomato, so it takes time to make the fruit. So I'm hoping that it makes some fruit soon so I can enjoy some tomatoes before the close of the year, the summer season. Because that looks so lush from here. I mean, it's like a grove of tomatoes. These pear tomatoes are really good tasting, but they take a long time to develop the fruit, and then an even longer time to ripen and turn yellow. So but they're really fantastic. They have a burst of tomato flavor. So the temperatures are going to rise to 100 this week and then go back down to the 90s, and I hope it stays so till October, like in the 90s is fine, so that I can have something hopefully. And then I was watering this garden bed today, and I found this tiny little Japanese melon. I thought I had harvested them all, and that was a big surprise. It was hiding back there, but it's really small, quite green. I don't think it'll be ripe enough, but we'll see. We still have October. We have really late summers, and as you can see, it's really hot. I mean, in the hundreds and 90s. So it's pretty uncertain in October, because it can range from very warm in the 90s to pretty cool. I really love this marigold plant. It is just producing so much. I got it clearance for only $5, and it just keeps making more and more flowers and blooms, and I love it. And it's very long lasting. This calla lily is doing great. All season long it didn't really have that many leaves from the bulbs, and now it's starting to have tons of leaves, and I love the little speckles and variegation on the leaves. This It's too bad I didn't get to this Cosmo before it shriveled up, but it had a really beautiful pink flower. It was really gorgeous. And this gomphrena is just producing. Earlier in the season it was like a darker purple, almost like if it was red and white it would look like a strawberry, but now in the late season it's more pink and white, and it's kind of drying out, and it's oblong shape. I love it. Oh, here's like a new one. So see how it's not that oblong? It's kind of like a pom-pom. I wonder how I would get the seeds from this. But I did order a lot from Johnny's Seeds, so I do have a lot of seeds for the gomphrena, so I'm not too worried. I don't think it'll survive the winter though. Here are the last of some brassicas that I grew in various places. So this one's growing in a pot with a fig tree in it. And I'm just gonna break off a piece. And that's a big piece right there. And there's still some more stuck to the pot in the pot. And I'll just give it to the chickens to eat. So these pots have roses in them that I propagated. This one and that one. And it somehow got some amaranth seeds in it. And it's annoying because there's the stem for the amaranth. So it just keeps making leaves and growing with my rose. And I figured out a way to control it. I just bring it into the coop, the whole pot, and the chickens just have their way with all the amaranth leaves, and they don't touch the roses. It's so weird. They know so well to avoid it. Stuck some seeds in here, but I don't know. I think they were papaya, but I don't think they're going to survive the winter. Also, if you like a particular crop that you ate that's store-bought, then it's okay to stick the seeds in the dirt and grow them. But if you don't like them, don't grow them. Because I got a papaya from the store the other day and it wasn't the Hawaiian variety, and I didn't like it very much. So yeah, I threw the seeds in the coop so the chickens can eat the seeds, because the seeds are edible. And in fact, the seeds have properties to antimicrobial properties and antiviral properties, and the seeds are good for their digestive system, so it was perfect. I didn't care about the seeds, and I wanted the chickens to not have bugs inside them. Over here I have some kind of squash or a melon. I don't remember what it was. It's just slowly growing over here in the shade. It was a poor spot to choose, but it's slowly growing. It probably won't make anything by the time the summer season or fall season's over, but right next to it I sowed some Spanish radish seeds, and some things are coming up. I hope there's some success here. Over here in this mulch area I stuck some snap pea seeds, and a raccoon or something dug it up. It was really upsetting, but I see something popping up, so it's promising. I hope it doesn't die, because these are cooler weather crops and it's getting to the 100 degrees this week, so I hope they survive. They're getting a little protection from the zinnias here, which have stopped blooming. Here's a little bud, but it doesn't open up to the large size that it typically makes. So I hope it makes another round of flowers at least before winter, or 2 more rounds. So the struggle is real. You've got heat, you've got pests, you've got animals that come digging and ruining your newly sowed seedlings, and you've got mosquitoes biting you to death while you're trying to grow some food. but it's worth it when you have great success and you get to enjoy and harvest the things that you grow. So with that, I bid you farewell, and I'll see you again really soon.